Patrice, I thank you for your honesty, and I will repay you with my own. I honestly never want to see you in my offices again. You're fired.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and wow! Naughty Dog is doing some serious damage to their own brand. Now, I understand being mad that your video game was leaked. I don't believe that you can look at the leaker in this universally as a hero. I think the leaks absolutely hurt their coworkers in a significant way. But on the other hand, the consumers that are saving a ton of money by not purchasing a game in which the story both spits on the legacy of the first game and panders in all the wrong ways. They're saving their money. They are probably, I don't know if it's a guy, they are probably a hero to consumers.
The classic re-release of Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. In this version, the word Wookiee has been changed to hair-challenged animal, and the entire cast has been digitally replaced by Ewoks.
Now, what has Naughty Dog done in response to all of this? Well, they've chosen the worst possible path. They have begun striking down videos manually of anybody who talks about this type of thing. In fact, one of the channels I talked to earlier today, I wanted to confirm what was leading to a lot of these strikes. And one of them is Ryan Kinnell from RK Outpost. I asked specifically, hey man, I'm thinking of covering this tomorrow. Did you use any clips of the actual leaks in your streams? He replies, hey, I appreciate you boosting this, man. Signal on this. I used 0 clips in either of my videos. That's 3 vids, now 2 on my channel and 1 on Gaming with Geeks channel. I did show 2 still images, the one with Abby holding the golf club and the one with Joel on the ground, all the while scrolling through an article that had them included. And I discussed the leaks while reading the article. I asked any reason why you think they're targeting you specifically. He says, I honestly think they're just targeting people who are speaking out against their agenda. I've seen a ton of other videos still up there with way bigger channels than mine. They may have had a measured less outrage. That's the only thing I can think of. Now, interestingly enough, I want to show the actual strikes and evidence of that. So, Rose McGowan. Here's Ryan saying, I got my second strike from Naughty Dog while I was live on air roasting Neil Druckmann. Now, Neil Druckmann is taking a lot of heat, deservedly so here, I believe. In particular, a lot of his well-documented relationships with Anita Sarkeesian, how that may or may not have affected the game. We're going to talk about that. You can see strike added, and it was also detected manually.
What do you mean you don't agree with me?
So they're going through impact on the video. Video is taken down. Ineligible, removed from YouTube. No recourse, by the way, for that. Here's now he has 2 active copyright strikes. So the next possible one will cause his channel to be removed, or I can't remember exactly what happens after that. But 3 copyright strikes, not good. All right. Now we see that Umbrella guy talking about just now, just some guy, heel versus babyface, and Geeks and Gamers have been copyright struck by Naughty Dog. Because Naughty Dog wants people not to buy The Last of Us 2, no worries, I'll oblige them. And points to a tweet saying, YouTube, why are you allowing Naughty Dog and Sony to abuse your copyright claim policy? Dozens of people have had their videos flagged for, quote, copyright infringement for talking about The Last of Us 2 Part 2 rumors about character. Do you find it acceptable that Naughty Dog and Sony are flagging videos for something that's been discussed in the news for weeks? This is that interesting part of it. The frustration boils over because I've got 2 other videos covering this. This will be my 3rd. Potentially, if they target my channel, it will be very, very risky for me. But nonetheless, I'll cover it anyway. I'm no hero for talking about it. But nonetheless, tons of websites are publishing full-on breakdowns of everything that happened, and Naughty Dog isn't sending them cease and desist. Naughty Dog isn't shutting them down. And also, this is news. It's in the public space. Why are YouTubers not allowed to talk about something that's in the public space? That's absolutely ridiculous. Look, I don't support the leaks. I think they did more harm than good to their fellow employees if that's what they were hoping to avenge. But ultimately, this is news, and Naughty Dog manually taking down videos is disgusting. And by the way, to fill you in on what a manual claim looks like, that means some sad employee at Naughty Dog is going and searching YouTube for The Last of Us 2 leaks, picking out videos, filing claims one at a time.
Excuse me, that's your salad fork? That Wi-Fi is for hotel guests only. What's the matter, sir? Too cool to sing happy birthday? Isn't this great, Marge? We're like Jiminy Cricket that knows what's best for everybody. Mm-hmm.
And if we look at the last tweet from Naughty Dog, we got Berwick in here roasting them. You see a lot of, Last of Us 2 unpaid employees. You see this now. People spoil 0 parts of the story, use nothing but release footage or nothing at all, and still get videos and streams taken down. F this company. They got what they deserve. I hope what's left of them after the sales flop gets sued into oblivion. Thank you for doing the patriarchy's work. The best form is the male form. I mean, you just see all the thing, also pay your employees and don't make them work overtime. Thanks. I mean, I'm not one of these people that whines for developers who have to work in crunch. The people that seem to complain about crunch are entitled game journalists who sit on their rumps all day. All right. Where I'm from, overtime is just a natural thing that happens at work. And by the way, when developers sign up for things, I'm pretty sure they know that there's going to be crunch. That's the way the industry works. And then you obviously have Neil Druckmann posting this, an Instagram story, which I guess deletes after a little while. And this one of the Kurt Cobain quote saying, basically, don't like it, don't buy our game. And now you're starting to see lots of articles. You're buying into comics. Naughty Dog VP and Last of Us Part 2 director Neil Druckmann previously fired a baddie focus tester. Naughty Dog Vice President and The Last of Us Part 2 director Neil Druckmann confirmed he fired what he describes as sexist focus testers. In an interview with Glixel in 2016, Druckmann was asked how Anita Sarkeesian's feminist frequency videos influenced him in regards to the development of Uncharted 4. Druckmann responded, quote, "When I'm introducing and describing a new character to our lead character concept artist, constantly she will ask, what if this was a girl? And I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. Let me think. Does this affect or change anything? No? Cool, that's different. Yeah, let's do it." He added, initially in the epilogue, it was Nate's son. Something similar happened with the mansion they go in. It was an old English guy's house. She asked, well, what if this was a woman? Imagine having to develop a video game, having to constantly ask yourself that question. Hey, Super Mario, you bop this block. But what if Super Mario was a woman? How would that change things? No wonder games run way over schedule. No wonder games run way over budget. You've got somebody in your main producer or director's ear the whole time. But what if this was a woman?
Slow down your sidewalk, Seraphin! You clean out of...
Druckmann then detailed that a number of focus testers questioned the changes. You have some bad focus testers who were really upset by Nadine beating up Nate, and really upset at the end when it was Nate's daughter. He went on to confirm that he fired at least one of the focus testers for providing their feedback. Imagine that. You provide your feedback, something you're supposed to do, and Neil Druckmann fires you.
He does know that converting the whole platform to middle out has put us at least 6 weeks behind schedule, right?
Well, I'm not going to be the one who tells him we're that far behind. If you want to, feel free.
I just heard you tell Heidi we're 6 weeks behind. But remember that drop frame issue I showed you? We're easily 15 weeks behind.
Well, I'm not going to be the one to tell Heidi about that.
Did I just hear you say we're only 15 weeks behind?
So to the point where we had to ask one guy to leave, in his core, it just affected him. He was cursing, not you, Naughty Dog. Gosh darn it. I guess I'm done with Uncharted. If you guys ever make another one with his daughter, this garbage. Druckmann concluded the question saying, and I was like, wow, why does that matter? I don't know. Why do people care about your video games? You want them to care about your video games when they're buying $180 super deluxe special editions. But I mean, duh, why would anyone care about this? I mean, you're fine everybody caring about your video games deeply, so much so that they'll buy your merchandise, that they'll buy your little plushies, that they'll buy your special editions, that they'll buy your expansion packs, that they'll buy your t-shirts, that they'll buy your hats. That's when they want you to care about their video games. But if it has anything to do with the actual game, then you're just a stupid gamer boy. Then, bounding into comics reports, Naughty Dog and Sony attempt to quash The Last of Us Part 2 leaks and silence anyone discussing them. This goes on. Now, we talked about all of these copyright strikes happening, and I'm wondering if it's going to hit mine. And they also reported on rumor The Last of Us Part 2 employees could lose their job if voices concern on its story. Well, there appears to be some truth to this based on the fact that Neil Druckmann himself had said that he fired testers for voicing an opinion he didn't agree with. But this article reads, following the immense backlash towards Naughty Dog, sparked after the leaked cutscenes from The Last of Us 2 gave players their first look at the game's questionable plot points and character designs, an alleged source connected with the studio has revealed that the design of the female characters was intentionally made less feminine in order to avoid offending the trans community. This is a core problem, okay? Imagine an artist who, let's say just a painter, something simple that my simple Midwestern mind could understand. And if that painter was painting things, but the entire time they were painting it, they were thinking about not offending people.
Now I know how all the writers in Hollywood feel.
Do we think that that would be a positive impact on the art? Of course not. What a ridiculous way to worry about or to consider how you create your video games. It goes on. The alleged source spoke with Australian pop culture site New Sausage Roll. Oh, great. Okay, so Sausage Roll is 100% grade A fake news. So I'm going to stop reading this article here. But there is, they say, the source explained, I don't doubt even for a moment that this leak came from the studio. The Last of Us 2 is very divisive, and you can imagine some of the team aren't really thrilled to be working on the game. They added, the team is very much divided on the game, and even voicing your concerns on its story will upset certain individuals. It usually results in said person being called closed-minded or even phobic or some such nonsense. Some people literally have to bite their tongues for fear of losing their jobs or even ending their careers at the outrage mob. Now, the source Sausage Roll has never once provided any reasonable sourcing that I've seen. Talking about how Ellie is sporting a more rugged, androgynous look than in the previous game. I mean, these are obvious design decisions that we see in the article. I mean, it's pretty clear. This is what they want. But imagine, letting possibly offending people guide your decisions. All that's going to do is water down your final product, come across as disingenuous, and only provide further fodder for the get woke, go broke culture of video games. I hope you spend this weekend playing games that offend you. I hope you support games that offend you, because offense is a good emotion. It's not always bad. It's good to have your boundaries pushed. It's good to understand that being uncomfortable isn't something you should be afraid of. Play those spicy games, boys and girls. Enjoy them. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I cover 4 to 5 different topics every day, 5 to 6 days a week. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.